Hey everybody, this is Dave with Growing the Home Garden. I am in the middle of February right now. This is February 18th and I am doing a seed starting update here just to show you what the progress is on the seeds that we have going. I'm in my crawl space where we have our grow mats and heating shelves, and I'll show you that in a minute. But let's get right into showing you some of the results of the seeds. This is one I'm pretty happy with because these seeds actually came from 2010 and we stored them in a refrigerator and they germinated. Now there's probably a lower germination rate than they would have had they been new seed more recent within the last 2 or 3 years. But this is a Woodle orange tomato plant, and you can see I've got 3 of those. It's one of my favorite tomatoes. It's a really delicious orange tomato. Now there's some other things that are growing pretty good too. I'll show you those first. Like this one right here. Got some good seed growth on this dianthus. This is from Fire Witch dianthus, which was a very common variety several years ago. It creates a nice sprawling mat of silvery type foliage and shoots up these really pretty flowers. So they're really kind of cool to have. They grow really easily from seed, and it looks like I should be able to get quite a few out of this one little cup. And speaking of the cups, what I like to do is use a larger clear cup on the bottom and then a small little cocktail size sort of cup here at the top. And they nest together very well. And so that's what I really like to do. Now, a lot of people will put drainage holes, and I did here on the side so that I'd maintain a little bit of a reservoir in the bottom. But often I don't even put the holes in. I just give it a little bit of moisture so it's going to stay moist, because what happens is as soon as you've got good germination and they're beyond their first set of leaves, you take off the lids and they dry out really, really fast, especially when you still have them on heat mats. So that's just what I do. It works for me. I don't really have that many issues with it, but sometimes I do the holes and give them some good drainage. This here is some rosemary, and you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or so plants that are coming along. They have just started germination. We still got a little time. We've got, if we're in mid-February, end of February, we've at least got 2 months before we'll even be tempted to put these outdoors. They want to wait even longer than that. These other ones have not done too well. Some of them are older seed that I was just seeing if it would even work. This is from a daylily cross I tried doing one time, and there's no germination in that. Over here, we've got no germination in this. Oh wait, I'm sorry, we do have germination in this one. See right there, we just started getting germination in this English lavender. So we should get some plants out of that. That's exciting. And then back over here, this one is some dill. And it looks like I need to water that a little bit. It's starting to dry out, but there's no germination yet on it. And I'll scoot back here and check out what this one is. And it is our common thyme, which probably, again, needs some more water. They tend to dry out a little bit on these heat mats. But you still see moisture in the lids, you're okay. You just need to get some water to them when it's time. All right, so here's another set of plants that I've got started. We have some onions here. That'll be a reddish type of onion to use for cooking and things. And there's no germination in the catmint. This is one of the newer ones that I've got, but we should start seeing some germination. But actually, there are 2 seedlings that have started to germinate. So hopefully you can see that right there, and right up there. So there we go, just today. And excuse me for my voice has gone out for some reason. All right, and these are tomatillos, the Rio Grande Verde, which get really good size. And I've got quite a bit of good germination on them. I took off the lid once it started getting a lot of flower, or a lot of little sprouts started, so it won't get too wet inside there. And then over here, we have parsley. Check that out. Lots of parsley. So a lot of these other containers of seed do not have germination yet. I'm just checking them over real quick just to see. And some of them are peppers that I've had for a while, just trying to get those packets used up from 2015 or even earlier. I've had some packets from 2012, 2013 that maybe were not stored in the refrigerator, but might have some germination. Sometimes peppers and tomato plants can have good germination later, but eventually they do diminish in their germination rates. All right, now this flat is one of the Vego garden flats that I sowed a couple weeks ago. Just going to take a look around here at these. And I don't have anything in this one right now. Those are Japanese maples that have not germinated. This one here is a type of salvia. You can see I've got some really good germination in it. Make sure I don't smush the little plants. This next one here, we have sage, and we're getting some good germination there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 or so popping up. And then on the end one, I don't see anything popping up here. It looks like we have oregano that was planted, and maybe it just is not ready yet. Let's flip around so you can see these last two containers. And right here we have more sage, right? Salvias, actually. And then in this last one, no germination on it. Those are jalapenos from 2015. All right, in this other one, these are more Vego containers, and they're a little bit larger size, but I only get 4 in each one, but I did overplant them. These are California Wonder Peppers, doing pretty good so far, decent germination. Right next to that, we've got, what are they? Mini bell peppers, but they are not germinating. They're, again, the older seed. And then this one here, I've got mixed in each one of them, and it looks like the only one that is currently popping up is the paprika peppers. The rest are not really doing anything in that container. And the last one over here does not have anything coming up yet. Let me turn this around. And you'll notice here, sometimes these do not seem to want to let the water out. So I think I need to fiddle with that a little bit. But I'll just dump it on there for right now. The brown jalapenos, I do have some germination starting in that. And this is also brown jalapenos, so they are doing pretty well so far. Love jalapenos. And brown jalapenos are really good because they've got lots of space where you can use them for stuffing. Bacon-wrapped jalapenos, nice favorite around here. All right, so more brown jalapeno right in that one. Guess I'm going to have a lot of jalapenos this year. And then so far we don't have anything germinating over there. Now one thing to say about these Vego mats, they plant very well, they're very sturdy, but they do dry out quick. So I've noticed that my best technique is to bottom water, fill this tray up, and then within 15-20 minutes, it's soaked up all the moisture into the soil. So that's my recommendation for it. The top areas are not as useful, especially when you have grow lights. These grow lights, you don't have a whole lot of height in them, and so it's hard to pour into that if you're doing it under grow lights. So on these two flats right here, I've got a bunch of tomatoes, peppers. There's at least one eggplant in here, and there might be some other things. I just started them yesterday, so hopefully they will start germinating within about 7 to 10 days, and we'll get some, you know, really nice looking tomatoes and stuff. And again, I'm using up a lot of my old seed in order to try to get it cleared out and see what germinates. I hate to waste things, so I just want to use it and see if I can get something to grow from it. And if not, that's fine, but I'm starting early enough in February where I've got plenty of time to start an additional crop if I need to. With tomatoes, you typically want to start them about 6 weeks or so to 8 weeks before your frost date, which around here in Tennessee is about April 15th. So here's the seed startup I started with last year and I was using, and you can see here I've got several shelves. I could have used those bottom shelves there, but I actually chose to add another set of shelves at a different location, and there's a reason for it. Our house is a relatively new house. We built it in 2023, and they use a different type of GFCI breaker. And I've noticed that the timers on my lights, like I've got these little timers like that right down here, or the heat mat timers, they're not really timers, they're thermostats. Those heat mats will trigger the GFCI, and when it does it, it shuts off the whole area down here under the house. But if I've got the surge protector where it's plugged into that, it doesn't do it. And so I'm having to make a special arrangement, trying to make sure that the surge is not going through the whole house circuitry on that particular breaker. And here's the other setup on the other shelves. These are a little bit bigger shelves. I like using these a lot. You can find these in a lot of different places, different stores. And I'm using these VivaSun heat mats, which seem to be really really nice. I like them better than the original ones that I had. They're a lot more flexible on the mat right here like this. So I've got one here and one up there. I'm not using this shelf yet, but I will expand to that shelf here before too long, especially once I start potting up some things, because I'll need the additional room to put these into pots and then put them on shelves before I can even put them outside. One key thing is when you have lights, these are just typical fluorescent lights that I have had for years, and they work great as grow lights. But what you want to make sure is that you're keeping your light source as close to your seedlings as possible so they don't get tall and leggy. With tomatoes, it's not that big of a deal. If they do get a little bit leggy, you can always just bury them deeper. So that's not a huge deal, but it is one of those things where you want to have nice looking plants, and leggy plants just don't look that nice. So what's nice about the heat mats is you can get them with a thermostat, which is really helpful. It helps you maintain a very moderate temperature, especially when you're in a crawl space area like this or a basement, somewhere that doesn't have a natural heat source. This really helps elevate it up above there. This area probably will stay at least around 55 to 60 degrees somewhere, but this will help it push it all the way up to where I need it to be for the bottom heat to work real well. The other thing I did is I got a couple of these timers to use. They have 2 sockets on the bottom. I think this is meant for outdoor use, so it's better for this area. But what I liked is the fact that it had a little cord where I could plug it into my power strip, and then I can plug in the 2 lights off of this. So I'm plugging in the lights onto this here, and then the heat mats into this. And I've got an older one for my other heat mats on the other side of the room. And then I've got 2 of these, one for each of these heat mats right here behind me. And that's what I'm using for pretty much everything that I'm going to start this year. Each year, if you just add a little bit here and there, it can build up gradually over time, and it isn't nearly so overwhelming as it would be to just start all this all at one time, all from scratch. So the next round of seed is going to be a combination of herbs and flowers. At the top of my list of herbs is always basil. There's a lot of great varieties of basil out there, and it has some really great benefits in the garden for companion planting or even just eating. It's just delicious. But we'll also have some flowers like coneflowers, rudbeckia. Those things I want to get started ahead of time so that when I can put them outdoors and there's no more frost, they can just grow. So we want to get them going that way. Also marigolds, another great companion plant that you may want to start indoors before you need to plant outside after the frost date. So I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. Thanks for watching. If you would, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time here on Growing the Home Garden.